Welcome to Dylan Has Movies. I'm Dylan, and I have movies. The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, is the third film in the Conjuring franchise, and the first to be directed by someone other than James Wan. This time it's being done by Michael Chaves, who previously directed 2019's The Curse of La Llorona, a film that bored me so much I neglected to finish it. I believe this film showcases a growth and maturity for Michael Chaves, and I think that this is a competently made film. It's even got more than a handful of some impressively shot scenes later on, but unfortunately this isn't enough to save the film for me. This entry is based on the true case of Arnie Johnson, who in February of 1980 stabbed his landlord to death and then famously claimed, "The devil made me do it," as a defense, and shortly afterwards became a media sensation. The film follows the Warrens' involvement in the case, and instead of focusing on just one specific demon of the week like the previous two films, they instead attempt to juggle too much in the way of embellishing the events that took place, so the film adds an antagonist that isn't a demon, and this time it becomes really, really stupid. I'll use this warning here because there will be spoilers from here on out, so if you're worried about that, then please skip to the timestamp on the screen. 3, 2, 1, moving along. And this character, Lorraine Warren, is plagued by these clairvoyant visions of an unseen figure performing some kind of black magic occult ritual that, for purposes unknown, wants to control some random demon from hell. Naturally, none of this actually happened in the real events because demons don't exist. Adding random monsters to a true story is tabloid levels of underhandedness. It would be like if Clint Eastwood suddenly directed Sully, but instead of making the engine failure or whatever actually happened that caused the plane to crash, he worked in some subplot about some random occultist group that were holding a toy plane over an open fire to get it to crash in Satan's name. Wouldn't you think the actual survivors would be like, hold on, that shit didn't happen? The writer shoehorned an entirely fictional murder of a young girl named Katie who died under similar circumstances to those surrounding the landlord, and somehow it ties together this idiotic plot that Arnie was possessed by someone attempting to give demons a soul of murdered victims? I don't know. Now, the woman's reasoning behind why is never explained, and even if it was, it wouldn't matter because it's stupid, and her reveal as the daughter of a former priest whom the Warrens turned to for assistance is just even more absurd. I guess this would have counted as a pre-established connection to the case, but how else would Ed and Lorraine Warren find them and stop them? It just feels so incredibly forced and dumb. In the end, they save the day, and the occultist is killed by the demon because she was unable to give him enough souls, and she crumbles to the floor like a dead spider, whatever. It is certainly not as scary as the previous two entries into the series, but I think that's due to not having James Wan behind the camera. The man has an eye for really interesting scares, and try as Michael Chaves might, he just doesn't have the same touch. The entire film has this feeling of a paint-by-numbers checklist that it has to go through, which in turn causes what little scares there are to be entirely unearned. The jump scares are telegraphed by characters turning around very quickly while the camera clings too tightly to them. The audio starts to fade out of the mix, and the scenes become extremely quiet. The audience has plenty of time to cover their ears as they wait for something to be dropped on the low end of a piano. From a visual standpoint, it's well shot and nice looking. The cinematography isn't anything that's going to win awards, but it's serviceable. It certainly feels in line with the Conjuring universe due to its appearance and tone, but if you're going into this film expecting to see some scary monster design, then you are going to be disappointed. Unlike the first two films featuring Valak and Bathsheba, there is no new demon in this entry, and therefore I think some fans will find this a little underwhelming. I know I did. Don't do what the devil Donnie don't does. The Devil Made Me Do It doesn't do much with the possession formula. It kind of lands in the middle of the road as a safe experience, one that on the surface offers all the trimmings and inner workings of a Conjuring film, but has almost nothing creative being done with them. Viewers looking for a spooky film to watch through interlaced fingers will probably be entertained, but for fans expecting something new and different and risky, they won't be very impressed.